Good afternoon, I'm Paul Sylvia, and welcome to our Mariners pregame show here on King 5 Plus ahead of Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. Most everything has been working for the Mariners so far in this series, so manager Dan Wilson isn't changing a thing. For the third straight game, he's going with the same batting lineup, a lineup that produced 10 runs on 10 hits Monday night in Toronto, a 10-3 win in Game 2. The Mariners took the field first. Vibes going at the plate. Dan says his players are at their best when they force the starting pitcher to log a lot of pitches. They want to drive the pitch count up and get to the bullpen, which is something they've had a lot of success with throughout most of this postseason. As far as pitching goes, the Mariners have been riding a wave of success. The starters have gotten some rest after that marathon ALDS series with the Tigers. George Kirby gets the start tonight in Game 3 at T-Mobile Park. It'll be his third playoff start. He started games 1 and 5 against Detroit, allowing a combined 3 runs in 10 innings with 14 strikeouts and only 1 walk. Kirby is ready to take the hill tonight in Game 3.
How guys are approaching, certain at-bats, and you kind of go from there, you game plan from that, and yeah, I'm never going to stray away from what I do well and what my strengths are, and I think if I'm able to do that, it's better than what anyone else is doing at the plate. So that's kind of my mentality, but you have to mix it up here and there, and definitely watching some games before I go is super helpful.
George Kirby is definitely dialed in for this one. Leah Pizzetti joins us from outside T-Mobile Park with a look at the fans tonight. I'm sure are getting fired up.
Oh, Paul, everybody is pumped to be out here. There's the air, it's electric, and no, I'm not talking about lightning, I'm talking about Mariners energy. People are pouring into the ballpark right now. I saw people lined up as early as noon, as 1 out here hours early. I also spoke to a Canadian who said, hey, don't put me on TV, I called out of work today. So you can only imagine how many people moved mountains to be here today, and it's been really interesting to see how many types of fans are out here. It's not just Mariners. You think, okay, home field advantage, right? The Mariners fans are going to dominate, but not necessarily. I'm seeing a lot of Blue Jays fans as well showing up. A couple people who said, hey, we jumped over the water, we took the ferry over, and we are here to support the Blue Jays. Here, let's see. Hey, everybody. Hey, guys, are you excited for the game today?
Heck yeah, we are.
First playoff game? Oh, they said yes. They said yes. First playoff game?
Second one.
Second one. Which one did you go to?
Game 5.
And?
Awesome. Electric.
What do you think? Same energy today?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Mariners getting the W.
All right, enjoy the game. All right, let's see. We got a Mariners fan right here. Hello, sir. Are you heading in the game today?
Yes.
What are you looking forward to the most today?
Just watching a win, getting one more away.
One more away. I think we need a couple more than that, don't we? But yes, energy is electric out here. Hey there, are you heading into the game today?
Yep, I am heading to the game today. Yep.
Is it your first playoff game?
Yes, actually. Yeah, this is for my first playoff game and first time on TV.
And what are you looking forward to most?
I'm not sure, really. I don't know. Go Big D, I guess. Go M's.
Yes, go Big Dumper, go M's. Yes, go Mariners. Here, come here. Is this your first playoff game?
It is not. I've been to every game, hence half my voice.
You have been to every game?
I have.
Can I ask how much money you think you've spent?
Well, where'd my kid go? He bought the tickets.
Come on in. Your son, right?
Paying for the hotel and the transportation and the food, and I don't know.
Yeah, and I've gotten the tickets.
That's a really...
We're in.
How much money have you spent?
Total?
Yes.
Like $5,000 probably for the last series and this series for travel, hotel, and all the tickets.
Where are you guys from?
At least that. We're from here. I live in Portland now. This is my son. He lives in Texas. So we're commuting from here back to Portland on the train and then seeing how it goes, coming back up.
Worth it?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, it cost another $2,000 when they played Game 5 here. like if they would have won Game 4.
We were at the 18-inning game, so actually seeing runs scored and winning the game, worth it.
Not holding a shoe on my head for 3 hours.
I love it. All right, enjoy the game, you guys. And you know what? The weather is beautiful. We love that we get to keep the roof open. But Paul, I will send it back to you. Energy is so good out here.
All that money talk. You cannot put a price on happiness, and the Mariners fans are definitely enjoying it so far in the postseason. Dan Wilson has spent a lot of time in front of the microphone these days answering a lot of the same questions. Today, he spoke to the media for about 15 minutes. He can't say enough about playing at T-Mobile Park this week.
To me, it's just I feel excited to get back out there tonight. I think we were excited about playing in this ballpark tonight, and feeling the energy again from the fans who've been incredibly supportive, who've just been fantastic. And I mean that's really what we're looking at. I think we're just focused on what's going to happen tonight, and doing the things that we've been doing, and not looking beyond that. And that's the way our preparation has been all season long, and that's what it's going to continue to be. And but we are excited to get back out there and be out here in front of the home fans and in our own ballpark.
Go to Ryan in the front.
Dan, why do you think Cal didn't get nominated for the Gold Glove this year?
It's a mystery, but I think we have seen nothing but Gold Glove performance from him all season long. I think, and when you look at some of the stuff that he has to deal with, in terms of our pitching staff, a lot of split fingers, particularly Logan, and then the amount of blocking he does. His throwing has been great. There are some tough things that happen along the way, and you love for all your guys to be nominated for those kinds of things. But I think the season, the year that Cal has had has just been outstanding, and it's always tough.
Just to follow up, he sat there and mentioned that he was going to, after the season's over with, he's going to go back over all the analytics and all the framing data and see if there's ways he can improve. I mean, he won the Platinum Glove last year. Is that a very typical Cal mindset?
No doubt. Cal wants to be the best. He wants to be the best on both sides of the ball, and I think that's just who he is. I think that's a really good glimpse into the type of player he is and the way he thinks. Again, it shows humility that he knows he thinks he's got things to learn and ways to improve, and he's going to find a way. And I think he's just that kind of guy. And again, it's not about winning an award. It's about helping a team win, and that's where it all stems from. And that's his desire to win, and that's why you love to have Cal behind the plate for you.
We'll stand in front of Mike.
Dan, Cal was talking a lot about heaping praise on George Kirby, Luis, and others that when the lights get brighter in the postseason, they know how to perform. Just paraphrasing that. In what ways has Cal made the biggest difference with them as far as preparation for games like these?
Yeah, I mean, I think with all our guys, particularly here in the playoffs, they've really gone out there with a great game plan. And I think, the game plans are game plans. You go out there with it. But you have to make adjustments as you go too, and I think the way Cal and all our pitching staff have been able to kind of read what's going on and make those adjustments, I think has been outstanding. And yes, there's no doubt he's absolutely right that these guys have stepped up, and that's what happens in the playoffs, and that's what guys do. But also, I think a lot of the credit goes to Cal too. That they've made their adjustments, and they've he's kind of felt the moment a little bit, read things. I think he's made great mound visits at times, like all those things that go into helping a pitcher along in an outing. Cal's been able to execute very, very well.
We'll stay in the front with Jessamine.
You have been close to this team throughout, obviously, your career, but you stayed close to this team. You stayed local. You stayed close to the city. When you look at, in a bigger scale, what the energy and excitement is doing around here, what does it mean to you?
I mean, it's exciting. It's just to see, the amount of Mariner hats, the amount of Mariner gear you see around town now. That kind of thing is always great, and that's what makes you feel good about what's happening. But it's, we want it to continue. And so tonight, that's where our focus turns to, and turns pretty quickly. But, to see the city come alive, to see what T-Mobile is going to be like, tonight and what it's been in the Detroit series, it's really exciting. And that's what's, again, that's the essence of October baseball.
Dan, how does this clubhouse compare to the clubhouses that you were in before games, after games, dealing with the pressure that can perhaps come with trying to do what they are trying to do right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing that sort of unifies clubhouses at this time of year is just that there is a lot of outside stuff going on, and so they tend to lean on each other. And I think this is a group that has begun to really lean on each other. As I've talked about a lot of times, just the love that they have for one another has really, it helps you with a lot of that. And I think that's the commonality. If I had to point to one, is just the rapport, the camaraderie that you have. You're all in the same boat, and that just brings you together. And these guys have handled it so well, and continue to lean on each other through it.
That is something Dan Wilson and the players have talked about for weeks now. The fact that they have a tight clubhouse, they have each other's backs through the highs and the lows, and it has shown not only on the field but throughout the city. You can just see and you can feel the vibe among those players. All right, from T-shirts to hot dogs, vendors are gearing up to make sure they don't run out of stock for the sellout crowds at T-Mobile Park. 47,000 fans expected to pack the ballpark tonight. And for one Seattle restaurant, that means ordering garlic by the truckload. Here's King 5's Sebastian Robertson.
We're planning for 50 to 75,000 Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
Ivar's president, Bob Donegan, is a numbers guy.
We would normally bread 150 to 200 pounds of cod for fish and chips. We'll have 700 to 800 pounds of cod for fish and chips delivered.
Both Ivar's and Kid Valley have stands inside T-Mobile Park. Both are working to make sure they don't run out of anything. By Donovan's count, 1 out of every 11 fans will order garlic fries, a Mariners Stadium staple.
The truck with garlic from Gilroy, California came in. We would normally at this time of the year have 4 or 5 buckets of marinated garlic. We had 150 4-pound buckets delivered.
But this isn't just about stadium snacks. It's about the millions of dollars flowing into the Seattle economy. According to Visit Seattle, the Mariners' playoff run is expected to generate millions in unplanned revenue. Downtown hotels are reporting nearly 90% occupancy. The average room rate, about $300. Bars and restaurants are seeing a 20 to 50% spike. Some reporting triple their usual crowds. And ticket resale prices for Game 3 have soared as high as $11,000 for premium tickets. The city of Seattle collects 5% admission tax on every ticket sold. Back on the waterfront, we found Canadian fans willing to dish out big American dollars.
So I spent $800 American, and I'm just sitting in about 7 seats back from the bullpen. So for one ticket, I paid $800. But the tickets got cheaper after they lost that game, so now I'm a little upset.
And you can't forget about merch.
So this one we just got in.
Several gear shops say they'll have extra staff on hand this week as Raleigh gear flies off the shelves.
Lots of merch out there for sure, and some cool designs coming out of this postseason run. Coming up, Chris Egan will join us for the ballpark, and we'll hear from Raleigh. That's next on the Mariners pregame show here on King 5 Plus. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Mariners pregame show on King 5 Plus as we get you set for Game 3 tonight at T-Mobile Park. Let's go inside the ballpark now as Chris Egan joins us live. Chris?
All right, Paul, thank you much. First thing, Paul, you and I have been covering a lot of Mariners Blue Jays games over the years. We've talked about this a lot. During the regular season, the Blue Jays fans, they flood this park, but good news to report early on as I glance around T-Mobile Park. There are some Blue Jays fans here, but this will be majority Mariners fans. We thought that was going to be the case, but I'm looking around. I'm not seeing a whole lot of Blue Jays fans, so good news out of the bats right there. Paul, you talked about George Kirby getting the start tonight. He has been sensational in the playoffs. 4 postseason starts George Kirby has made. He has a 1.5 ERA. He's pitched 18 innings in the playoffs. He's only given up 3 earned runs. Cal Raleigh talked about George Kirby earlier today and what makes him so great in the postseason. Cal also talked about taking care of business and getting the job done here in Seattle. Here he is, the catcher for your Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, I mean, we understand, obviously we put ourselves in a good spot, but job's not finished. And I think we've done a good job of that so far this year. All the way starting back to when we did clinch, we weren't satisfied with just making the playoffs. We wanted to finish this thing off and get the division, and then, fast forward to the Tiger series, just trying to keep that focus, and whether we go down or go up, trying to keep the same level of consistency and focus. And like I said, we want to try to finish this thing out here and take care of business. That way, we're not giving them any kind of room to breathe.
Cal, what has made George so effective in the postseason? We've seen him kind of struggle at times during the regular season, but in the postseason, he seems to have another gear. What has made him so effective?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's done a really good job of, really mixing really well. And obviously, I think he's kind of, in a way, kind of hitting his stretch just because of the injury this year, and he's finally found that groove. And he's really been good about locating the sinker to both sides of the plate, which has been huge. So away and in, and then obviously mixing in the rest of the stuff has been a big key, I think.
Stay on the left with Tim.
Cal, I'm wondering, I know right now remembering back probably isn't easy, but 3 years ago, you guys at the deadline go out and get Luis. What did that acquisition tell that group when you guys were still kind of young and sort of learning how to win at that point, by the front office going and getting him, and what did that do? What did getting him do for that group?
Yeah, I think that doing something like that, it's one of those things where you can say whatever you want, but the actions speak louder than words, and it kind of excites the room when you're going out there, and because it's the message is clear. We're going for it. We got our team significantly better, and you can look at this year as well, going out and getting Gino and Naylor, and doing things like that. It's exciting, and it really brings that clubhouse together, creates a lot of energy and buzz, and that's what you want heading into the last 2 months of the year.
Go in the middle, Tyler.
Cal, with what you've done personally this season, it's sort of taken your own star to a different level. What have you enjoyed about that, maybe, and how has it changed things for you off the field?
Nothing really. Still try to do the same thing every day, pretty much. I don't think really nothing's really changed for me, in my eyes, I guess. So I'm just really enjoying, obviously the success of the team and everything that's been going on. I think the last month was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun, and enjoying that with those guys, and kind of coming together there at the end was a lot of good memories, and trying to keep doing that right now. So.
And just one other one about the Mariners and staying here and committing. What about their vision finally sold you on it? Like the wanting to stay here and see this thing out. What made you trust?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors. Obviously sitting down with Jerry, Justin, John, and just talking things through and understanding, I think first things first, we got to go out there and execute, and we got to put our best foot forward, and that's really all we can do every day. And then after that, we've seen, things come together, looking at like what he's just said with Luis and Naylor and Gino this year and things like that, putting us in good positions and also, just, kind of falling in love with this place and, the fans and the city and really kind of finding a home here. So it's kind of, I'd say it was kind of the things that kind of brought me to that conclusion.
We'll go in the middle, JP.
Thanks, Cal. 2004 is a long time ago, but I know you're a Red Sox fan growing up and watching the team that year. What are your memories of what that team meant? Because obviously, basically for all their fans, they had never seen that team win the World Series. And, of course, you're trying to do something that's never been done in this city. So when you look back, what was it like as a young fan back in 2004?
Yeah, it was, it was crazy. Obviously the year before, or I think it was the year before, Wakefield and giving up the home run to Boone. I remember how devastating that was and how close and obviously the next year then be able to do that and, coming back like that was crazy. So I was obviously very lucky. I didn't have to go through all the suffering that, fans did for many years. But you see what it does to an organization and a city and how important that was. And that's just something that was amazing. I thought it was awesome. And obviously now you're looking back, 20-something years, you're seeing all these documentaries coming out and how important that was and how it really kind of bolstered, the next couple championships for him come years after that. So it means a lot. And it's just, it kind of gives you that little extra gear, a little extra edge, as far as, we're doing this for something more than just ourselves or just this team. We're doing it for fans and people here to remember, something for a long time.
Cal Raleigh was also asked today about being snubbed as one of the finalists for the Gold Glove Award. Cal last season won not only a Gold Glove, he won a Platinum Glove, but was not on the finalist list, which was announced today. Cal said, well, I'd rather not worry about that right now. I'll look at some of the stats after the season and try to get better. Interesting. This season, Cal had zero pass balls. He only had 4 errors and was a top 3 in fielding percentage. Not much the big dumper can do, Paul Sylvie, to get better. Taking a live look now inside the stadium. They are putting some final touches on the field. They've taken the batting practice gear off the field. Grounds crew going to work here. Beautiful day in Seattle for Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. Paul, let's send it back to you.
Yeah, that pass ball stat from Cal Raleigh is really unbelievable, and it is a shame that he didn't get any recognition for that, Chris. All right, you talk about Josh Naylor and Gino Suarez and all the props you give those guys, and you hear from the players and their teammates and the fans, but, let's take a moment to give the props to GM Justin Hollander and team president Jerry DiPoto, and maybe most of all, owner John Stanton, who takes a lot of crap from fans throughout the years. But everybody got together near that trade deadline and realized we got to buy some guys, make some trades, and make a push this season and not let this great starting pitching staff go to waste. And that's exactly what they did. So not only props to the players, but definitely props to management as well. All right, as the Mariners inch closer to the World Series, one moment from last week's game is striking a chord with fans. It happened at the statue of legendary broadcaster Dave Niehaus. His daughter Greta told Christian Balderas she felt her father's presence just before the Mariners' dramatic win.
It was the bottom of the 15th inning. The Seattle Mariners were tied with the Detroit Tigers. The championship was on the line.
I started pacing. I just couldn't sit still. I was pounding Cheetos and...
That's when Greta Niehaus, the daughter of legendary sports broadcaster Dave Niehaus, left her seat to sit with her dad's statue. She spoke with us in her late father's office.
I just felt this crazy urge, like I was being led to go down the statue.
Unbeknownst to her, a fan captured the moment. And then, right after she sat down, the Mariners won. Greta took this video in the moment. Another fan captured these photos after the winning hit. This one shows the two fans who took the photo and the usher who introduced them. The fans said they were also at the game because of their fathers.
I just wanted to see the game. I wanted to be with him. And I just I just really felt him. I was like holding onto his necklace the whole time, and and then as soon as I sat down, that's when Polanco did it.
Dave Niehaus was the voice of the Seattle Mariners for over 3 decades. Now his legacy lives on in 2 places, in bronze at T-Mobile Park and in his family's home, where awards and memorabilia line the walls. Frozen moments from a life devoted to this game. So what would Dave Niehaus say if the Mariners win it all?
I don't know what he would say, but he would certainly be over the moon and definitely on his feet. Who knows? He would probably come up with something new.
In Seattle, I'm Christian Balderas, King 5 News.
I just cannot get enough of that picture with Greta and everybody around Dave Niehaus and that statue at T-Mobile Park. Here's another look at the starting pitchers. The Jays will go with right-hander Shane Bieber. Bieber gave up 3 runs on 5 hits in Game 3 of Toronto's Division Series loss against the Yankees. All right, back at the T-Mobile Park. Let's hear from Shane Bieber.
If I watched that outing back a few times, I was relatively happy with how I executed. I thought, a couple different pitches and being a little bit sharper in certain situations could have had the game go a different direction. But ultimately, you can't really dwell on that, and you got to focus on what's coming next. And kind of just dove into my work over the past few days, and excited for the opportunity on Wednesday. But ultimately, I think from an execution standpoint and how I felt like the ball was coming out of my hand, I was happy with it. We all know as starting pitchers, we got to go out there and empty the tank. And so you don't want to step off that mound with, excess energy or anything left in the tank. And so I think what that means is, since there's no guarantees, you got to step on it from pitch 1. And so I think that's what we find ourselves doing.
Starting pitchers have to embrace the pressure tonight, that's for sure. It'll be Kirby and Bieber out of the gate. Let's send it over to T-Mobile Park once again for Chris Egan, who joins us live. Chris?
Yeah, Paul, you mentioned the word pressure, and I'm really interested tonight to see how these first 3 innings go. Toronto Blue Jays, a team that has been playing with leads all season long. They rolled in here in May and swept the Mariners, now have their backs against the wall. They will be playing with pressure tonight. As for the Seattle Mariners, this is a clubhouse that is very loose. They're very free, but they know a series can turn very quickly. We've heard from Mitch Garver several times. He was on that Rangers team that was up 2-0 on the Astros, and then Houston rolled into Texas and swept the Rangers away. So this Mariner team understands that, sure, they're up 2-0, but they need to take care of business tonight. George Kirby on the mound, Luis Castillo tomorrow. So they've got the pitchers. And, Paul, they also have a bullpen with rest. Andres Munoz, Gabe Spire, and Matt Brash, all not pitching in Game 2. They've had several days off now, so they should be ready to roll tonight as well. It should be fun, but I'll be keeping a close eye on those first 3 innings tonight. Let's send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Chris. A lot to look forward to at T-Mobile Park tonight, and a beautiful night. The roof is open, and the players are ready to go. Again, the Mariners 2 wins away from reaching their first ever World Series. We've talked about the hitting. We've talked about the pitching in this show. Let's talk about that Mariners bullpen, which has just come to play throughout the postseason. Edward Bazardo may be the MVP of that bullpen staff right now. He's been on fire and very reliable for this team. The bullpen as a whole has thrown 18 straight scoreless innings. So when Chris is talking about the starting pitchers and getting the guys in and out and getting right to that Mariners bullpen, a lot of opponents, they want to get to a team's bullpen. I don't think the Blue Jays or anybody else who's playing the Mariners wants to get to that M's bullpen. We'll see what happens tonight. Thanks for watching this special Mariners pregame show. You can find our postgame coverage right here on King 5 Plus after the game.